What's going on, guys? Texas Platinum is back with a new video. Lots going on right now in the Texas football world. We've gone on a bit of a break, if you couldn't tell. Some of us have been on vacations. We got Thanksgiving. A lot of these boys have finals going on. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with that. So we've kind of been slacking a bit, but some of this news that's been going on in the Texas football world have caused us to come out of hibernation. And this week, and especially next week, expect a whole bunch of new videos and hopefully a higher production schedule going on there forward with the semesters closing for Myers and Madrid. But yeah, big news, most notably Quinn Ewers, as the video is titled, and we're going to be talking about Quinn and the potential of him coming and transferring over to Texas, as well as the big NIL deals that are in progress right now for the University of Texas football program, and then just other recruiting as well. We're about a week away from National Signing Day, the first one in December. So lots to touch on, lots to cover. As I said, we'll be doing more shows next week, so look forward to those. But for now, our main focus is on the man, the myth, the legend, Quinn Ewers. So before we get started, first off, I want to ask you guys to please subscribe if you're new here. It really helps our channel grow. We're 2.1K, I believe, at the moment, and always continuing to grow. And I'm sure with this Quinn stuff, especially if it goes our way, more subscribers hopefully will be coming. So do that, and then be sure to interact with us in the comments below. Always a lot of fun to discuss with you guys and see what you guys think about everything that's going on. So Matt Myers, I want to start off by saying he is battling a bit of an illness right now, but Quinn Ewers cannot wait. Myers, how are you feeling? And let's get started with some Quinn Ewers thoughts. How are you feeling about that as well?
Hey guys, I'm feeling good. The Quinn Ewers dream is alive, manifest destiny, written in the stars. I mean, just when it seemed like it was time to give up on it, because even throughout the season, Longhorn fans would still have in the back of their minds like Quinn Ewers portaling to Texas for next season. And then Mike Roach put out, that there were legs to the rumors a couple months ago. Then he kind of went back and said, actually, no, he's going to stay at least till spring at Ohio State. And Texas fans started to kind of move on. And then Friday night, Pete Thamel drops the bomb saying Quinn Ewers is entering the portal, looking at Texas A&M and Texas Tech. So, man, it's just you're getting a second chance to land the prodigal son of the state of Texas. So Sark and company need to definitely make the most out of it. I mean, Quinn Ewers, him going to Ohio State always seemed kind of bizarre. I mean, Tom Herman definitely didn't help us keep his commitment after he committed to us initially. And it's hard to blame him. I mean, Yursich didn't last at Texas. Herman didn't last. None of them really lasted. And there was just so much turmoil last season. So it's hard to blame Ewers. But then he goes and joins Ohio State's stacked quarterback room, doesn't see the field at all, and didn't really seem happy there. So now he's in the portal. A&M didn't really want to go after Ewers, I don't think. So it's really a Texas Tech battle, which, I mean, come on now. And then also TCU had some contact. I think they had him on campus, but that's not going to happen. So really it's just Texas versus Texas Tech. As far as the Texas Tech smoke, there are some reasons to believe that Texas Tech is in it. Just from what I've heard. I mean, apparently a couple like Texas Tech alums that are like work for the Double Eagle Casino or something, they're just fronting a couple $1 million to try to get Quinn Ewers out to Lubbock. Apparently Quinn Ewers' mom has connections to Joey McGuire and Texas Tech. I think she may have been a Texas Tech alum. And then Zach Kitley, the new offensive coordinator at Tech, has ties to Ewers as well. So there's some stuff there that gives the Texas Tech side confidence. But I mean, come on now, Texas Tech.
And they also recently lost what I thought was going to be kind of their wild card. They were hoping to get, or at least there were talks about getting Riley Dodge, Quinn Ewers' previous high school football coach, on staff. I don't even know what he would have done at Tech. I guess QB coach, or again, I think those were more just kind of wishful thinking, hope, I didn't think that Dodge would take that job because the Carroll job is really good, and I don't know if he's looking to advance over to college, but I don't know. I found that interesting, but last night we found out that Dodge was not going to happen to Texas Tech, and that's really good for Texas fans because that had me definitely a little bit concerned because you know the name Dodge in general is just so revered in the state, and being able to have both your high school coach on top of these other really good coordinators and new coach and Joey McGuire, I think is um, that's kind of a slam dunk staff if you're Ewers himself. But I regress. That was a wild card, but continue on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like it's a slam dunk. Like I guess it would have been a slam dunk, pairing of coaches for Ewers at Texas Tech if that went through. But yeah, clearly Dodge, I don't think he's going to go to Texas Tech. But yeah, anyways, I want to touch on something that Trevor and I and Matt Madrid were talking about this past weekend is just these Texas fans on Twitter, really very out loud about how they support Malik Murphy and he's the loyal one. We don't need Ewers. Let's ride with the one that's been loyal all the time. He's been committed to us for a while now, and Malik Murphy's a great guy. I mean, a great leader, a good quarterback. But come on, Quinn Ewers is the number one player in the nation in two classes. Actually, he was number one player in 2022, and then he reclassified to 21, and he was ranked the number one player in that class. And he's a Texan. I mean, and he has so much pull with recruits. Like Trevor was saying, even if he is a bust, like just the branding, the draw of other recruits, just having Quinn Ewers at Texas is a good thing on so many different levels. So I'll pass this to Trevor because Trevor was passionate about this. But what do you think about all these Texas fans showing their righteousness?
I understand their perspective and I can respect it because as a fan, you want to root for someone that is similar to you. And if you're a Texas fan, obviously you love the University of Texas and you wouldn't have it any other way. So it makes sense for them to want to stand by a quarterback that's been committed to Texas the whole time, never did the decommit thing and flipped to Ohio State and now wanting back in once they weren't able to get playing time type thing. Like the optics, I can understand that. And, a lot of fans don't love players that carry any drama or baggage or controversy or anything like that. And here you got Malik Murphy, who's just this, real high character guy that has been really in love with programming the Sark from the beginning. Has been real committed about it. Can be a really great player at the university. I have, pretty good hopes for him. Again, I still think he's a bit of a developmental guy. Maybe not as much as originally, because this past season he's actually been putting up really good numbers and looking a lot better. So that's promising to see. I still think he needs to sit on the bench for at least a year before playing. I mean, think about Hudson Card. Like that guy had fantastic film, and a lot of people thought, oh, he could maybe, start from day one as a freshman, yet he redshirted and clearly he wasn't ready himself. So I think it's going to take time with Malik, and I think just, try to cater to him, be nice to him, continue to recruit him. Sark just visited him less than a week ago. So I think the relationship is being there, but Texas fans need to stop taking sides here. Do what's best for the program. And one thing that I believe, and I know the rest of us at Texas Platinum believe, is get the best players in. And just as Meyer said at the beginning, with this transfer portal era really kicking off here. I mean, it's been going on, but this off season in particular, you're going to see it being used to a whole nother level. I mean, starting with this Quinn Ewers thing. I don't think it matters as much anymore about getting the right guy, getting the right fit. I think it's just a matter of getting people that are talented, seeing if they fit, and if they don't, they can always transfer out, or you can get new players in. That's maybe not the perfect way to go about things, but you should always try to get a number one recruiting class type player on your team. Even if the scheme fit isn't perfect, get the most talented player you possibly can. And if he's a Texan, grew up a Texas fan, has fantastic marketability, extremely high upside, and as a quarterback, which is by far the most valuable position you can recruit. I mean, quarterback is everything in the sport of football. Why would you not want Quinn? Why would you not want that guy? You should always be vying for that, in my opinion. And like I said, even if for whatever reason this guy turns out to be a bust, which I don't see that happening. Like his skills are too good. Like Tate Martell's game, like a lot of people are saying like he could be the next Tate Martell. I don't think he's going to be the next Tate Martell. Tate Martell's game was very different than Quinn Ewers' game. When you look at Ewers' mechanics and throwing ability, as well as kind of his mobility, I don't see him failing personally. I could be wrong about that. I'm not like a scout or anything crazy like that, but I think that's kind of ridiculous thinking to be like, oh, he's Tate Martell because he's wanting out and he couldn't succeed at the Ohio State quarterback room. So I don't know. It's been a little frustrating to me to constantly see people like kind of bashing on Quinn Ewers and being like, we don't want this guy, just because that doesn't make sense. You should always want the best players on your team, and like I said, especially in the transfer portal era, there's more upside than downside to getting a number one type player. I don't think it kills the locker room. I think if someone needs to transfer, they transfer. And as Myers said at the beginning, he's going to bring in, it's about what he brings outside of his skills and who he is as a quarterback. He's going to bring physically a bunch of other really talented players to the University of Texas. And most notably, a lot of notoriety, good news, positive vibes, excitement about the program. We haven't had that in a very long time, really, since Sam Ellinger said that we're back, which we weren't. But at the time, there was nothing but good excitement, positive vibes. And especially after this horrible 5-7 season, what we need right now is good mojo, good publicity, stuff that's going to get people excited. And if Quinn comes to Texas, which we're going to find out real soon here, if he does, I guarantee you a bomb is about to drop, on the sporting world. It's going to be on every talk show. Every publication is going to be writing about it. Twitter's going to explode, all those things are going to happen. And for the first time in a long time, Texas is going to be able to be in a positive spotlight and an exciting spotlight. So again, I get it that we want to keep Malik Murphy. He's safe. He's a good guy. He's an excellent prospect, and we need to hold on to him. But you need to land this guy, and it's so important that you do, especially if it's between us and Texas Tech. Like, even if we didn't really want Quinn Ewers, we still got to get him, because the optics of us losing a recruit to Texas Tech is very bad. And I know that maybe like Texas Tech has, these great scenarios for him and is catered to him and it makes sense for him. And there are reasons as to why he might want to sign with Tech, but you cannot lose that battle. That's my opinion. So there's numerous reasons why we need to sign him. And again, hopefully my reasoning kind of calm down the apprehensive people or the haters that don't want him, because at one point he decommitted from the University of Texas and this other guy's really gung-ho about the school. So those are my thoughts. Myers, feel free to add, or we can shift the topic in terms of Quinn.
Yeah, Trevor, I absolutely agree with you, man. I mean, like Steven says, from Fanatic perspective, there's levels to this. I mean, you said Tate Martell compared to Quinn Ewers. I mean, Quinn Ewers is the number one player in two classes. Tate Martell was like at best a 5-star for like a short amount of time. He didn't finish a 5-star. Just the gap in talent is just way bigger. And then Also, I mean, Quinn Ewers, barring like injury or just something that goes horribly wrong, you put Quinn Ewers and Sark and Xavier Worthy together on the same team. Uh, that's going to be a first round draft pick. I mean, that's going to be a first round quarterback out of the University of Texas, barring, a disaster.
That
So,
that hasn't happened since Vince Young.
exactly. So that's also a reason you need to take Quinn Ewers. I mean, that's been hurting us in so many recruitments, and just the optics of everything is Texas not producing first round talent. We even had a first round offensive player since Vince Young. I don't
No,
believe
yeah, you're
it.
right. You're right.
So Ewers is
Crazy.
pretty much a shoe in for that. And then also, like you said, the marketability. I mean, Quinn Ewers will fill seats in DKR. I mean, that guy's a draw in the state of Texas. He's kind of like a little, I know he's like 18 or 19, but he's kind of like a legend already. Just the mullet. I mean, number one player in the nation. He just has like, there's something about him, like a mystique about him that really, people are interested in. So you got to take him. And then, all right, and then him and Malik Murphy. Yeah, if Quinn did flip to Texas, would Murphy decommit? I don't think so. I think what Sark needs to be doing is just selling that they're on different timelines. I mean, you get Ewers, he's going to start for 2 years and be in the NFL. That'll give Murphy the time to take over as a redshirt sophomore at Texas. Let's be honest. I mean, Murphy's not. I don't think he's ready to take over in year one as a starter.
Definitely not year one.
I don't even know if he would agree that he's ready. So I think they could both coexist. As far as affecting the Arch Manning recruitment, we'll cross that bridge when you get there. It might hurt the Arch Manning recruitment, but who cares? I mean, you take the guy you can get right now over Arch Manning in 2 years. You're praying you get him in 2 years. So take Ewers now. Let's talk timeline. So when Ewers entered the portal Friday, apparently Sark met with him like as soon as he entered the portal, like almost before he entered the portal.
That's not a coincidence. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
So there was definitely some back channeling going on. I think Texas and Sark kind of had an idea that Ewers was going to make this move. He did visit Texas Tech, I think, the following day.
Yeah,
He was,
Saturday, one of the two.
which is fine. I mean, I'm not scared of him visiting Lubbock. I think then he did go to Fort Worth the next day and checked out TCU,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's planning on coming to Texas this weekend. So hopefully by this weekend we'll have an answer. I mean, I would imagine he's going to bring some players with him on the visit. I mean, guys that stand out are maybe like a Caleb Burton, a guy that's from Austin, committed to Ohio State receiver, really good friends with Quinn Ewers. It just makes sense, like a guy like that Quinn would want to bring with him to Texas, just bring him more weapons because, I mean, they'll help each other get paid, honestly, if they play together. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully, I mean, in a perfect world, he commits like before we put this video out, and this is just an obsolete video. Get the momentum going, and then we get a big recruitment weekend and close out on Kelvin Banks and all these guys. So um, the thing about this is like it's happening now. Like we're hoping to get this out fast enough, but we're on commit watch, I feel like. And if he does commit to Tech, just honestly, I know it's just one player, but it would be catastrophic. I mean, honestly, just shut down the program at that point.
Yeah.
So,
And give your reasoning for that. Because some people, there's a lot of fans, and this goes to the Malik thing. There's also a lot of fans that have this mentality of like, we get him, cool. We don't get him, that's cool too. And like from a reasonable, like healthy perspective, sure, that's great. You want to manage your expectations, but at the same time, there is reason to like flip out if we don't get Quinn Ewers and Myers. Let me toss it to you to explain that reasoning.
I mean, I think it was Inside Texas that was saying that the dam will break if we get Quinn Ewers and talent will follow him. It'll be a big signature moment for Sark, kind of like Malik Jefferson back in 2016 committing to Texas, where it's like, okay, this guy's recruiting really well. You're going to have a really good class. If you don't go Quinn Ewers and you lose out to Texas Tech, who just hired a no-name coach that's never coached a college football game in his life or coached offense,
Yep.
Like the optics of that, not only will look bad for just Texas as fans, but I mean, Eric Naline was saying that like recruits will see that too. Like it'll be even harder for Sark to recruit the guys we're trying to close out like Devin Campbell if you can't even close out Quinn Ewers to Texas Tech. So with that said, I'm glad that our our rich alums and boosters are finally being Texas and trying to money whip this guy because the alternative of not getting Quinn Ewers is just so much worse. Like it's not even it's not worth the hassle of not getting him because it'll just be so ugly. So just pay what you can to get him. Honestly, NIL allows you to do it legally, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But you got to get Quinn Ewers in the boat. That's all I'm saying. Bottom line, if we don't get him, it'll definitely be. Honestly, I was talking about this with my friends. I think this will make or break the Sark, his career at Texas, because, like I said, the recruiting implications will go either like skyrocket or just like fall flat in his face in year one after a 5-7 season. So this will give Sark a chance to really lift off, have a signature recruit to build around, have the face of the franchise, and really try to get this thing going. So we need to make sure we close that recruitment out in short order.
Agreed. Yeah, you got to look at the bigger implications of what this recruitment is. On the surface, it's just a player, but when you look under the surface, this is the whole pie. Like this is a big deal, and it'll have implications that'll last really throughout the rest of the Sark tenure, however long that ends up being. So it's huge and needs to happen. Let's look real quick. Try to see if there's anything else that we're missing here on the Quinn topic before we move on to NIL. Brennan Thompson will be visiting with Ewers. That was just reported. So that definitely, the more players you can get, the better. And one thing I do want to touch on is the fact that he is visiting Texas Saturday, and it's the last place he's visiting. I think might be the knockout punch. Like you always in recruiting, you always want to be the last school that they see, because the last one always has the biggest impact. It's the last one. It's the last thing you see. Pretty simple. And the fact that he already went to Texas Tech rather than going back there. I mean, maybe he could go back again. We don't know for sure. The hope is that he, decides by Sunday or Monday night. Honestly, the sooner the better. At this point, I don't see him. I know Myers, you were saying that this video might be obsolete. I don't think he's going to commit between now and the day that he visits. He might commit the night that he visits Texas. I just don't see why he'd commit before visiting, if he already has a visit planned out. That, and just kind of from what I've read and seen about his family, they're pretty methodical in how they want to go about doing this. Obviously, him going to Ohio State early and skipping a senior season was very methodical, so they don't seem like the kind of spur the pants type family that, wants to just throw something out there when they think it's right. They really want to think it through. But I think the fact that for a while, I know a lot of people were wondering, like, is he going to go visit Texas? Maybe he doesn't even really need to. He's been here before. I think the fact that we actually, and maybe that was a recruiting pitch in itself, was come and visit campus. You haven't been here in a while. Come and see the players that we do have. Him seeing the completed end zone, the updated locker room and facilities, meeting players, meeting Xavier Worthy, meeting Bijan Robinson in the flesh. That sells, a player rather than just speaking on the phone or meeting with the head coach. You see everyone else, you instantly want to be here. Take him on the night on the town in Austin. Compare that to what he saw in Lubbock. I mean, those factors, I know from when you look at it as like a player with a professional mindset, where it's like, I'm here to do football, I'm here to develop, I'm here to do all these things. That's one thing. But then when you actually visit somewhere, you start thinking about life outside of that. What am I going to do for fun? What am I going to do when I'm relaxing? Where do I want to actually be? What's better for my life as a whole? He's going to see that Austin is a way better place to be than Lubbock, even if Lubbock might have, supposedly the better fit for what he's looking for. I don't know. We'll see. But point is, us securing a visit this Saturday with him, I think, is massive, and cannot be understated. Any other final things?
Yeah. I just want to say, keep in mind that Quinn Ewers does have an NIL agent. So definitely, Ewers' camp is being very calculated with everything. I mean, the fact that they're visiting Texas Tech and I would imagine, talking to their boosters on these NIL deals and kind of creating a mini bidding war is definitely, it's not a coincidence. I mean, Quinn Ewers, he's definitely chasing money, which is, I mean, why would you not be if you can just
Yeah.
make $6 million to play football at Texas? I mean, you take that opportunity. So just keep that in mind. And also, Pete Thamel's kind of been their mouthpiece. I mean, Thamel's broken everything first, it seems like, as far as like Ewers and his plans to transfer and visit places. So I feel like just make sure you're following Pete Thamel. I feel like he's going to be the guy that breaks the next big thing about the next domino that's going to fall. But yeah, I mean, I feel good. I mean, all the sites, 247 Horns, Inside Texas, TFB, they all seem like their confidence is increasing over the last couple of days. And I mean, it's Texas versus Texas Tech. I know that there's some advantages there, but we gotta close this one out for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's good because honestly on on Sunday and Saturday even, but especially on Sunday, I felt like, oh, like we may lose him to Tech. Like there was real serious talk, and when you hear the national media talk about the Quinn Ewers transfer thing, a lot of them are still saying like Tech is in the lead. It takes the national media a little bit to catch up with like the insiders, but yeah, it was Tech was real, and still can be real. We're not saying that it's a done deal yet, but um, which I know like Texas fans probably are a little bit befuddled by that, but you look at the incentives as to the reasons why Tech is a choice for him. It could make sense. There's a reasoning for that. So yep, something to watch out for. Anything else, or should we move on to transition into NIL from here, since it's a pretty flawless transition, must I say?
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, I think Jeff Ketchum was the one that tweeted. I don't know if he has any credibility with this number, but he's tweeted that Quinn Ewers is likely to be making first round draft pick money if he comes and plays at Texas, which is just insane. What is that, like over 5 million a year?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, that's crazy. That's just kind of where college football is heading these days. I mean, I'm happy to see the UT boosters finally flexing their muscles. I mean, the Clark Field Collective was just announced a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago. Like it's all happening so fast, but basically, it's a giant crowd-funded, pot where people can just throw in money. Famous alumni, big money boosters, to really just fund all the athletes at Texas and specifically the football players. I think 80% of the money in the pot's going to go to the football program, and
Mhm.
there's already $10 million committed to it. So, I mean, if you just divide that up, I mean, that's a lot of money per player, and I'm sure the stars will get even more of larger
Yeah.
payouts than the backups. And then the O line deal with the Pancake Factory, $50,000 per year. Just if you're an offensive lineman on the team, just a scholarship O lineman, so you could just be a backup and just do nothing, and then make 150K if you factor in the Clark Field Collective payouts. That's like a base level salary for some of these players.
Yeah.
That's going to be the reality for all of them here soon. So, I mean, it's about time because Texas has been getting worked by A&M and others in the recruiting trail because these other schools have been throwing money around, in the dark market. It's what they call it, dropping bags.
Yeah.
In Texas,
Bagman.
I know we have done it in the past, but until recently, we haven't really done it at all. At
Since
least,
Mac, I don't think.
yeah, not at a competitive level, at least. So it's a welcome sight to see Texas finally just saying, you know what, we have all this money, we are the number one brand, we are the richest school in the union. Let's act like it instead of just spending all the money on buying out coaches. Let's just buy players so the coaches can
Actually
hopefully.
have a career.
Yeah, and Sark needs it. Let's be honest. Sark's learning on the job. He's a great offensive mind, but he's by no means a finished product as a head coach. He needs time. He needs to learn. So he needs really good players to make him do better and hopefully expedite his ladder up as a head coach. So I'm glad that our admin and boosters are making moves.
Agreed. Yeah. And this whole offensive lineman thing, the pancake factory, as it's lovingly called, that is no coincidence. Kind of like I said earlier, there's not a lot of coincidences happening right now at the University of Texas. The university is finally getting smart and being calculated and strategic with their recruiting right now. And it's no secret that the University of Texas desperately needs offensive linemen, and recruiting them is paramount right now, whether in the transfer portal or as high schoolers going into college. So you could say the same about defensive linemen, but actually we've done pretty well with recruiting defensive linemen thus far. So I'm not too worried about that, but offensive linemen is absolute paramount for the sake of the entire offense operating all right. I mean, you get Bijan Robinson, even a decent offensive line, and he'll be a Heisman finalist. I promise you that. You managed to get Quinn Ewers, and you put him behind a good he needs the offensive line. Yeah, the whole offense runs through the offensive line. And that's really where it starts and ends. And our offensive line right now, even though we're returning a bunch of starters, is not good to put it bluntly. So this is the first big NIL deal for this grouping of players. There's reports that more are coming for other player positions, so expect more things like this coming forward. But this is first because it's number one priority to get good offensive linemen. And we got a lot of really stud offensive line prospects that we need to land, which we will be talking about in a little bit here. As Myers said, this is Texas finally being the University of Texas. We've always had this fear of not possessing the squeaky clean image that we always want to possess. We don't want to be, the typical SC, even though we're moving to the SEC, which is interesting. We don't like being the, bag, money under the table type program. We want to be very honest and clean and ethical and all that good stuff. The NIL was huge for us because now finally we're willing to roll up our sleeves and say, hey, let's start throwing some money around. This to me is huge. I think that this is a very bold proclamation, but Myers, let me know if you feel the same way. This might be the beginning of the end of Texas's struggles here. I'm not kidding. This is big because you start paying this is about to become a bidding war. And until the NIL changes, which it may in a few years, because this is definitely kind of an unfair advantage for a lot of these smaller schools. They will not be able to compete with the money offering that the University of Texas is going to be giving out. So I expect changes in regulation down the road. But for now, we need to milk that card because you are going to be able to there's a ESPN 30 for 30 that I love. It's called Pony Excess. It's about the SMU team from the 80s where they got the death penalty because they were paying a bunch of players. And they were notably called the best team that money can buy. And that's what the University of Texas is gonna become with this NIL deal. Hopefully, is the best team that money can buy. And we're going to be able to incentivize and offer players more money than a lot of other schools out there. And for all players, that is a big deal, especially if you're a lower income, single parent household type thing where now you can support your family while you're in college. You don't need to rush to the NFL to actually be able to help your family out or help yourself out. Well, with that said too, rich people love money too. Quinn Ewers' family loves money. Everyone loves money, like I hate the argument that I'm starting to see, on Twitter and stuff that they're like, oh, well, like Quinn doesn't need any more money. Like he's from Southlake. Like why would he, why would he want money? please. Like, no one loves money more than rich people. So, this is a huge, massive thing. And I think it's basically us yelling checkmate to a bunch of other schools out there saying like, all right, you think you can recruit and get cute? At the end of the day, we're like, hey, you come here, you're getting this much money. You're getting paid this much. And what can your other school offer you? That much. You want to support your family? You want to invest in your future? You want to come to live in the city of Austin and get paid a bunch of money? There you go. So it's huge. And again, until the NIL changes, which I think it will, because I don't see this lasting forever, because people are going to realize like, hey, this is potentially unfair to other schools. I mean, you just today, Darren Ravel is calling this all a sham and saying that we are, this horrible, nasty program for paying players this much money. But you know what? We're playing the game. We're following the rules, and they should have seen this coming, and this is basically just the UIL's way of saying like, hey, we don't want to pay anyone anything. We'll let you pay the players if you wanted to go about it the right way. Here's all the legal jargon and stuff you got to follow, blah, 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 blah. And it took Texas some time, took us a while, to get this going, because when the season started, or whenever NIL officially started, we really didn't have anything lined up, but now we do. And guess what? Guns are blazing. So it's huge. It's massive. And again, I think that this will be probably the biggest recruiting tool. And I have a lot of Texas fans some people think that there might be some shame in this. There's no shame in doing everything you can legally to win, in my opinion. That's what winners do. That's what the best football teams, the dynasties, do, is they figure out every competitive advantage that you possibly can find and capitalize on it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this, as long as it's legal and we're not doing anything illegal, which knowing this program, I think we're going to stay away from every possible thing that's illegal right now. We're so squeaky clean. So I don't know. I'm feeling good. This is good. This is I'll stop talking here, but this is brighter horizons, in my opinion, and maybe the beginning of the end in the long run.
Man, I hope so. I really hope. I mean, it's been 12 years of pain and suffering. So hopefully this is the beginning of the end, like you said. But there's a reason they put that out there. I mean, there's a reason they put it out before signing day and put numbers, like attached numbers to it. I mean, they 50,000 for O linemen, 10 million for the for all the athletes, 80% is going to the football team, and that's just the base. Like, that's just the start of it. So you're talking like 150,000 per year for at least O linemen. I'm sure they're all going to have deals where they all get 50,000 a year.
Yeah.
But so that, I mean, let's talk about Kelvin Banks for instance. I mean, I'm sure Oregon paid him a lot up front to commit to Oregon. I'm sure A&M's offering him bags like under the table. But I know it's usually like six figures, like 100K to 300K. That's the type of figures you'll see for bags under the table. But if you commit to Texas now, you're like guaranteed going to make $600,000 over 4 years, and that's just before any other NIL deals. And I know these other schools will have NIL structures in place, but as far as I know, there's nothing really as prominent as what we have right now with the Clark Field Collective and the Pancake Charity, Horns for Hearts, whatever it is. So I think it's really just a positive step, and hopefully we close out some of these O linemen we're after, because I mean that's going to make or break the class. Aside from Quinn Ewers, I mean Devin Campbell, Kelvin Banks, Nito, whatever, I can't pronounce his last name. Did I say Malik Agbo already? There's a lot of them. So
yeah,
a lot of guys that Texas really has a good shot at closing with, and we need to, because O-line fixes everything, honestly. So, and especially with Quinn Ewers, you got to have O-line in there to protect them, so we can throw those dimes to Xavier Worthy and all that good stuff. So, man, I'm just happy to see it finally happening, and hopefully we get some good commits out of it here in the next week, because signing day is like a week away now.
Yep. And then last notable thing is this NIL deal, in my opinion, is what's keeping you're seeing a lot of these super seniors stick around for another year. Your DeMarvion Overshown, your your Keandre Coburn, your Deshaun Jameson, all very talented players. Probably not talent. I mean, well, definitely not talented enough to like be in the first 4 rounds of the NFL draft. So the interesting thing about what NIL is going to do here at Texas and probably college football in general is it's going to keep players in college that are really talented but aren't first round or second round type talents. So I just wanted to point that out there. You're seeing a lot of returning players, which is great for us because we don't have a lot of linebacker depth. Our D line could use some veterans, and Deshaun Jameson, even though I think he had kind of a down year as a corner, he's still an elite return man. So I'm always good to have older guys around in the program, even if they aren't, elite or anything like that. But I don't know. That was one thing that I noticed is I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of guys staying around. Why are they doing that? And I know that Overshoning Keandre Coburn like did a Q&A with Orange Bloods, I think today actually. And they gave their reasons as to why they stick around, but I promise you that this was definitely a part of it as well. On top of all the reasons that they gave. I'm not calling them a liar or anything like that, but this is big. And I think just for college football in general, it's going to keep a lot of stars in college football, which is great. And especially great with, switching sports here, but basketball, a lot of people have always wanted to figure out, like, how do we keep these players away from doing this one and done thing? You pay them and people stick around if they aren't elite enough to get that first round money.
Agreed. All right, let's close this out with recruiting. Okay. So the biggest recruit on campus this weekend will not be Quinn Ewers. It'll be hopefully DeColdis Crawford, the receiver decommit from LSU. I think Texas is trying to get him in late and try to flip him into the class. I mean, he's a 3-star receiver. He has good film, but his name is DeColdis Crawford. So hopefully we
get him.
Yeah. And then also people are talking about Evan Stewart potentially flipping to Texas if Ewers flips. We'll see about that. Mike Roach was kind of saying today that it's probably not going to happen even if Ewers comes to Texas. But, I mean, we'll see. Evan Stewart's kind of a guy that I feel like even if he doesn't commit to Texas or sign with Texas, I feel like he's a guy that might end up transferring around. So that's just something to watch. But yeah, I think this should be a good weekend for Texas recruiting. Brennan Thompson, like he said, is going to be on campus. Savion Red, a 3-star receiver. I'm not sure if he's I don't know what his deal is because I haven't really watched his film, but I know he's super low rated. He doesn't have many great offers, but the staff likes him.
Yeah.
So I think we're taking him at receiver if we take him. So that's one to watch. He was committed to SMU, decommitted. Hopefully we get some of these O-linemen on campus. I mean, that's the most important thing. Like I've been saying this entire video. Devin Campbell is visiting Georgia this weekend, which is terrifying because Georgia Bagman will not be stopped. I mean, we know that we've seen Keely Ringo literally bought from us by Georgia Bagman. So hopefully he doesn't fall in love with Georgia or get a big fat bag. But we have bags to offer now too, legally. So that should help.
Right.
And then Denver Harris is a guy that we're trying to get on campus. I know A&M's kind of surged in that recruitment, if you know what I mean, over the last couple of weeks. But LSU is also a school that was in there. However, Corey Raymond apparently is going to Florida now, which was the guy, like the lead reason that Denver was considering LSU. So hopefully that'll allow it to be a Texas versus Texas A&M battle. We get him on campus this weekend, hopefully, and maybe we can close him out, show him some NIL money. And hopefully we end this class out strong. I mean, a lot of moving parts. But signing day is 1 week away. I'm sure we'll have a recap on everything once everybody signs and, the dust settles a little bit. But, I mean, if we get Quinn Ewers in the boat, I don't see why we can't end with a top 5 class. Mm-hmm. I think that should be the expectation if you get Quinn Ewers.
Agreed. Any transfer players outside of Ewers at the moment that we should have on the radar?
I saw that Mike Roach put in a crystal ball for Curtis Dunlap. He's an offensive lineman from Minnesota. think he's a junior. He started as a freshman and got hurt as a sophomore. Started this year, then entered the portal. But he was a 4-star guy. Played at IMG in Florida. Big bodied offensive lineman. That's what Kyle Flood likes. So hopefully we can get him to commit. I mean, we're in dire need of O linemen, especially experienced ones. I know you can't really rely on freshmen, highly rated O linemen to come in and save the day.
Right.
So I think that getting some older guys with experience that have played in Power 5, played against Ohio State, schools like that, that's definitely a way better short-term fix. Although these younger, highly rated guys will be, the future for us. You need some patches for now because we play Bama like in 2 games. So we got to have some able-bodied veterans out there to at least make it a competitive game, which I think we will. I think we'll keep it close against Bama, hopefully. So
if we get Quinn Ewers, that'll be the game of that college game day will be here. Ewers versus Young, that'd be insane.
I mean, you put Ewers, Bijan, and Xavier Worthy. I don't know if you can find a better trio in college football. Maybe CJ Stroud, Henderson, and Garrett Wilson. Is Wilson going pro? I don't know. But
no, I think he's
going to be one of the best trios in college football. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else recruiting wise? Again, we're going to be doing another video next week, like I said. So be looking out for that once signing day has come and passed. Just kind of reviewing the class. But Myers, any other buzz that you could think of, or does that kind of wrap it up for recruiting in this episode?
No, I mean, I don't want to speak too much on it because it's really fluid right now and we'll know more in a week. But I mean, we just got crystal balls for Larry Turner Gooden and Malik Agbo, 2 highly ranked 4-stars from the West Coast. One's an O-lineman, one's a safety or receiver athlete. So those would be welcome guys in the class. Add 2 more 4-stars of the class. I mean, the class has a good floor. I mean, we have a lot of quality defensive linemen, a lot of other 4-stars everywhere. I'd like to get another receiver in the class. Maybe Quinn Ewers opens up the door for Armani Winfield. If not Evan Stewart, Armani Winfield probably want to come back in the class. So I'm sure he will attract at least 1 receiver with him, maybe Caleb Burton. Whoever it is, we need at least 1 more to pair with Brendan Thompson, and then probably get another one out of the portal as well, because our receiver room is so thin, especially with Whittington always being hurt, it seems like. So, yeah, I mean, not much to say on recruiting, but there's definitely the potential to end with a bang here in the next week.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose that kind of wraps up this video. I mean, this was a long one, but we had a lot to say, and there's a lot more to say. So as I said, next week, probably we'll have to see with our schedules, of course, but hopefully expecting probably 3 videos, because we got one planned out that we'll be talking about coaching, because obviously there's been so much coaching change in college football right now. So we're going to talk about some of those changes, not all of them, but some of them and how they affect Texas, obviously. We'll definitely have a video about Quinn, wherever he decides to end up going, even if it's not Texas, we'll be talking about that, I'm sure. And then, of course, signing day. So busy time of the year, a lot of stuff. And if you watched it this far, thank you. And it's funny. It's funny how stuff can change in the course of a month, because last video we did on here, we were talking about how we lost to Kansas, and now we're talking about hopefully securing the number 1 player in 2 different recruiting classes. So tides are turning. Hopefully, we'll have to see. A lot of big stuff. So Myers, anything else, or we good to sign off here?
No, I'll just end it how I started it. Quinn Ewers to Texas, written in the stars. It's destiny, and it's time that he comes home and brings Texas back to national relevance. So fingers crossed that Quinn Ewers ends up announcing his commitment to Texas in the next couple of days.
Let's hope on it. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new here. Like I said, a lot of new videos coming down the pipeline, so you're not going to want to miss it. So be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, all that good stuff. And let us know in the comments what you thought about this. Hopefully it gave you plenty of information. And satisfied that itch for Quinn Ewers news. So y'all take care, horns up, and hopefully next video we got some exciting news to share with y'all.